I want to bring you some breaking news, disappointing news if you're planning a holiday to Croatia, or indeed if you're in Croatia at the moment. In the last few minutes, the government has decided that Croatia, along with Austria and Trinidad and Tobago, need to be removed from that list of coronavirus travel corridors. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps has tweeted in the last few moments that the data all points to the fact that those countries must be taken from the list to keep infection rates down. If you arrive in the UK after 0400 on Saturday morning from these destinations, you will need to self-isolate for 14 days. We know ministers met in London a little earlier on today to decide on the fate of Croatia and others. This is that tweet I was just telling you about from Grant Shapps. As you can see, Croatia, Austria and Trinidad and Tobago all removed from that list of safe countries, as it were. Quarantine will be required if you return from those countries. You'll have to self-isolate for 14 days. Follow similar decisions, of course, in recent weeks over Spain, France, Malta as well. It's bad news for many holidaymakers. Emma Birchley is in the newsroom for us. Emma, what more can you tell us?
Had been warned to keep an eye out for changes, and those changes have now been announced. So, added to the list of countries where travellers will have to go through 14 days of self-isolation on return are Croatia, which there'd been a lot of speculation about, Austria, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, with Croatia, we know that the World Health Organization had said that they'd been watching that closely since the beginning of June as the cases have been increasing, and certainly in the last few days that increase has happened at a greater rate. The key number is 20 cases per 100,000, and we understand with Croatia the figure was around 27, Austria 2, as I mentioned, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, a key thing though is Portugal. Portugal comes off the list. So that means that if you go on holiday there, you won't have to face 14 days of self-isolation on your return. And that will certainly come as very good news to people who want to get over there, but also to Portugal itself, who were very, very unhappy when travel was allowed to many countries, but not Portugal. That was one of the few places that was on the list, and a place which is hugely popular with British tourists. The thing is if you're trying to book a holiday at the moment, it's an enormous gamble. You may look at the R number, try and find how many cases there are, look at news stories, but you're taking a risk. And this addition of Croatia, Austria, Trinidad and Tobago to the list is proof of that. Just to remind you, France, Spain are already on the list, Belgium, Malta, Netherlands, all of those places. If you travel to those, you have to face this 14 days of quarantine on return. Now, the Foreign Office say that they are monitoring the international situation. It's under constant review. The Health Secretary said yesterday that he's working with Heathrow and other airports to try to come up with maybe some way of bypassing the quarantine. So looking at the possibility of maybe testing. The problem is as we know, incubation in the body, the virus may be there and not showing up on testing. So it's a tricky business. But certainly Health Secretary saying that he is working with airports to try and find a way through this. But certainly if you're booking a holiday, you need to realise that it may well be a bit of a gamble at the moment.